Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for our high school information night. Thank you, Maureen, and the team from our Multilingual Multicultural Center for helping us out tonight with our presentation. Good evening, families. Thank you for joining us tonight for our high school information night. My name is Aaron Townsend, and I am the Assistant Superintendent of School Management. I am joined this evening for our presentation by a number of other school and district leaders, including our incredible high school leaders from Casco Bay High School, Principal Derek Pierce, from Deering High School, co-principals Abdullahi Ahmed and Allison Dame, from Portland High School, Principal Sheila Jepson, and the director of our Portland Arts and Technology High School, Kevin Stilfen. As well, we are joined tonight by district leaders, including Superintendent Javier Botana and our Director of Secondary Academic Access and Outcomes, Pamela Otunu. In tonight's presentation, we hope that you'll learn about the district's vision for high school in Portland Public Schools. We as well want to help understand the expectations around graduation and the critical importance of the ninth grade experience to your student success during their high school career. We'll then dive in to learn about the strengths and uniqueness of each of our three high schools, as well as the programs offered by Paths. And then we'll conclude tonight with sharing information about the high school enrollment process. We'll end with a question and answer session where you will have time to ask any questions about the schools or about the enrollment process. You can access the Q&A through the button at the bottom of your Zoom dashboard, and we'll curate those questions at the end and respond. To begin tonight, I would like to introduce Superintendent Botana to talk about high school in Portland Public Schools.
Good evening, and thank you, Aaron. Good evening and welcome to everyone that is with us as we begin what we think of as the final leg in the journey to graduate from Portland Public Schools, prepared and empowered. Prepared and empowered is how we like to think about what the outcomes of education is for all of our students. And so when we think about prepared and empowered, the high school leg of that journey is the one that puts the capstone on the work that has happened throughout your education. So for the students in the audience today, for your families, we know that this is an incredibly important next step in your journey towards becoming prepared and empowered. When we talk about prepared and empowered, we think that prepared is having the knowledge and the skills that are required for you to be successful at the next level, whatever that might be. And empowered means that you know where you're going, that you have a plan, and that you have the skills and the plan, and you're going to pull them together. And that's going to be what results from your Portland Public Schools experience. And so you see here a list of 6 things that we think are critical to the mission of the Portland Public Schools as you become prepared and empowered. And those are the things that you will hopefully achieve as a result of your education with us in the next 4 years. Next slide, please. Many of you have probably heard us talk about the Portland Promise. The Portland Promise is our comprehensive plan, our strategic plan, the way that we organize our work to achieve that prepared and empowered goal that we have set out. And at the center of the Portland Promise is a recognition that, like so many institutions in this country, we have traditionally not been able to ensure the same level of outcomes for all students, and that a student's zip code, the language that they spoke at birth, the color of their skin, and their physical abilities oftentimes are more determinant of those outcomes than whether they are highly motivated or whether they are working extremely hard. So part of our goal as an institution is to break down the systemic barriers that exist within our institution that get in the way of achieving that goal of all students having an equal crack at becoming prepared and empowered as part of their experience in the Portland Public Schools. And some of the things that we know will help us to do that are the things that you see in those bullets. Eliminating those constraints that I talked about, targeting our practices in ways that we know promote equity, engaging families, and bringing the resources of the community to bear on our outcomes for students. And sometimes, next slide, sometimes our focus on equity comes face to face with some of those structures that we have put in place that by design are standing in the way of achieving those equal opportunities for all students. And so as a result of a process that we've been engaged in over the past few years, it culminated this year with the school board adopting 2 resolutions directing us as a staff to make some changes in the high school selection process that we are going to be talking about today. And so specifically, one resolution talks about the requirement that we have enrollments that are balanced both in terms of size and diversity in our 2 comprehensive high schools. That's important because it is critical to allowing us to provide the same quality of programming in both of our high schools. The other resolution is asking us to dig deeper and to look at the fundamental structures and routines that are in place in our schools. So whether it's the type of programming that we're able to offer to our multilingual students, our schedule, or our co-curricular and athletic activities, and strive for figuring out how to align those so that regardless of which high school you attend in Portland, you have access to the same level of quality. So that is a big part of what we're going to be sharing with you today. And I want to sort of end by stressing that I have always believed that we have amazing high school options in the Portland schools. My own son graduated from Casco Bay High School. He talks all the time about how that was a formative experience that was well matched to what he needed at that point in life. But I also know that many of the people on the screen have also had their children attend our Portland public schools that aren't Casco Bay and have also benefited tremendously from that. We have amazing options in Portland. Today, you're going to learn about those options, and you'll have an opportunity to ask questions about the process as well as about the programs and services that we offer in our high schools. So again, I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you for being here on this launch of this final leg of the Portland Public Schools experience for you as children and families, and I know you won't be disappointed. Aaron?
Great. Thank you so much, Javier, for sharing that context about the work we can all continue to do as a team to strengthen the high school experience for each of our students. So as you all may know, we have two outstanding comprehensive high schools in Portland, one smaller expeditionary learning high school, and a career and technical education center that students can access. Portland High School, as you'll see and as you know, is located downtown, while Deering is located over in Deering Center. Casco Bay and Paths are co-located on a campus off of Allen Ave. At each of our high schools, all of our students are required to meet the same graduation requirements. These graduation requirements align with our beliefs that all students can rise to high expectations and that academics, work habits, and social emotional skills are equally important in school and life. Earning a diploma means students have acquired a depth of knowledge that is articulated in the Maine learning results, the state standards that all students in Maine are expected to achieve through their schooling experience. Additionally, it means they've developed the work habits and relational or interpersonal skills necessary for the modern world. These are the guiding principles articulated by the state that include things such as lifelong learners, clear and effective communicators, problem solvers, and critical thinkers. Additionally, here in Portland, students are required to complete a capstone project and to have a post-secondary plan to demonstrate that they are prepared and empowered, as the superintendent said, for their life after high school. To dig a little bit deeper into the notion of those Maine learning results, here in Portland, we have articulated our graduation requirements, as you see here on the screen tonight. So these graduation requirements help to shape a student's experience over their 4 years of high school to be able to demonstrate proficiency in these various content areas. We want students to have a breadth of experience by meeting standards in a variety of disciplines through a variety of learning experiences to be able to accrue these units of proficiency. Your school counselors and other support structures will help keep you on track throughout your high school career to ensure that you're able to meet these goals and to meet these requirements and to develop goals for your post-secondary life that are aligned to your individual talents and passions, and again, leave you prepared and empowered once you walk that stage in June. At each of our schools, we have a significant number of common programs and opportunities across all three of our high schools. At each high school, students are able to earn the seal of biliteracy, demonstrating proficiency in multiple languages, or the STEM endorsement that shows demonstrated deep coursework and experience in the science, technology, and math fields. We offer English learner and special education programs at each school, and we offer guidance and other social and emotional support, such as social workers and other structures, to be able to ensure students are getting the supports they need. All schools offer advanced placement classes and other early college or dual enrollment programs with USM or SMCC, and there are a variety of world languages that we're proud to offer. As you can see, there are additional job readiness opportunities. Any student attending Deering, Portland, or Casco is able to access the PATHS program. And there's a variety of wonderful sports clubs and other co-curriculars where students are able to explore and develop their passions and interests. Each of our schools is available for high school students via Metro. And each school, consistent with your experience in middle school, offers one-to-one technology for everyone. You can find more about each of the school's offerings on our high school transition site and within each of the school's websites. I want to transition now to talk a little bit more about specifically the ninth grade experience. You've heard me speak a little bit about the end goals and where we're trying to get, but it really is the ninth grade experience that really sets students up for success over their 4 years of high school. There has been, through much research, it's been demonstrated that the ninth grade year is the most important year of a student's high school experience. Ninth grade brings a lot of academic and social changes for students. There are maybe higher academic expectations. There are potentially larger classes, new teachers, new peers. All of this means that the school and family partnerships remain essential to be able to communicate early and often about how students are navigating this transition. Students' attendance is the greatest factor in student success in ninth grade. We want to continue to stress the importance of regular daily attendance and connecting with your schools to help ensure they're making the transition to high school successfully. Research has shown that students who pass all of their core classes, so that means their English, math, social studies, and science classes, are 4 times more likely to graduate on time than students who do not. In addition, as kind of the converse of that, it is seen that students are more likely to fail a class in ninth grade than any of their other classes. So this ninth grade year is a key year to make sure that you all as a team and us as a district work together to ensure students are on a strong path to be able to graduate prepared and empowered in 4 years. Now, at each of our schools, students in ninth grade take a relatively similar set of courses to ensure they are set up for success and have a strong foundation. A student's program will include the 4 core subjects, as I just mentioned, English, social studies, math, and science, as well as a range of possible electives to fill out their course load. This foundation sets them up for their more individualized pursuits that they may have later in their high school careers as they are planning and preparing more for their transition to their post-secondary lives. To be able to support students with this intense experience, each of our schools has established structures to be able to support the students to navigate this transition and to partner with you all as families. Each school has a version of a freshman team in which smaller groups of teachers are connected to a specific group of students to be able to build relationships and provide the right kind of social and academic supports to enable their success. Additionally, all 3 of our high schools offer what we call as crew or advisory or seminar at the different schools, which are structures that help students build community, develop their social emotional skills, and manage their high school experience to be able to be successful and stay on track for graduation. Lastly, each of our school has a version of academic support structures if students are needing more time and attention and support to be successful academically. You can see here they're referred to as different things across each of our schools, but it's a core part of all of our programs to be able to offer those academic supports to be able to ensure students are getting the right kind of attention and support to enable their success, both in ninth grade and throughout their high school careers. So with that context about high school in Portland, I'm excited to turn things over to our incredible school leaders. We have a talented team of principals and directors, assistant principals, guidance counselors, social workers, and staff in each of our buildings. We couldn't be more proud of the work they do every day. Tonight, you'll get a chance to see a video about each of their school and then hear from each principal about their school. We will begin tonight with Casco Bay High School.
I think the vibe here is just be yourself. You're really free to do as you want. If you want to experience where you can truly be yourself, express yourself, and really want to share with other people who you are, Casco is going to be great for you.
Crew for me is like the heartbeat of the school and of my practice. It's the anchor for me. It's kind of always what I come back to.
Each student has a group of 14 students that they watch out for and watch out for them. That it's a really important connection.
there's a question about a class or an activity or something that's going on in their personal lives, they have that person that they can go to connect.
What gets the students most excited is that moment of authentic learning when they forget their students.
Our freshman year, we went kayaking at Cow Island. I think it was like half a week long trip with our cruise.
You get to bond with the people around you. You come back and you feel like a great sense of trust with these kinds of people.
I came to Casco because they talked a lot about community when we had our open house, and also because it seemed like a bunch of the expeditions they did had a big impact on like actual things that mattered. I wanted to experience that.
An expedition that we have in 9th grade now called We Are on Indigenous Land. And the first time we did that, students worked really hard, developed projects, developed mini lessons, and then went to local elementary schools to teach young students about Wabanaki history and Wabanaki culture. They saw that this was an opportunity for them to take action to make the world around them a better place. And I think they get really, really amped for that.
Our principal, he has this way of like bringing people together and always happy and smiling around the whole school. His energy just like transfers to all the other students. They get you excited for learning.
It's less like you read a textbook and answer questions about that, and more like class discussions. There's a lot of communicating with your group and learning as a group.
It's all about getting outside of your comfort zone, learning that you can do more than you know. Casco Bay doesn't let you stagnate. There's always a next step.
For my next stage in college, I feel like it'll be an easy transition there. And I feel like they've prepared me academically and personally in improving who I am and trying to be the best that I can be.
Being a part of Casco Bay means looking at what's happening in the world and working with the students on keeping hope alive. So I would say if you're interested in learning in authentic ways, you're interested in participating to the solution of big problems, if you are somebody who wants to get out and about and talk to the people who are most deeply involved in these issues, this is a great school for you.
So with that, I'm excited to introduce Derek Pierce, principal of Casco Bay High School.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for listening in and giving a part of a Monday night to us here in Portland Public Schools. I am the proud principal of Casco Bay High School. I'm very proud to be a part of Portland Public Schools. I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about what our students are up to right now. Our 9th grade are actually involved in the expedition that was referred to by Mr. Bernstein in the video. They're working, studying Wabanaki history and culture, and are currently creating children's books that they'll be reading and sharing with Portland Public School elementary students in a week or two. Our sophomores are just launching an expedition around migration and immigration issues around the world. They'll be each identifying a country from Myanmar to the Congo, where they will be going deep and understanding the immigration issues at play and what should be done about it. Eventually, they'll be sharing their findings with parents and local experts in the field in late January. Our juniors have launched a research project as well, focused on American public policy issues. They'll be hosting a symposium where they'll be presenting their solutions on issues ranging from minimum wage to environmental devastation to local politicians, university professors, and other folks willing to listen and learn from their ideas. And our seniors just completed last week a museum in response to their study of the Israeli-Palestine conflict called Art in Action. They're soon to launch their own expeditions that they design called Senior Expedition. We do all of this in the service of that motto, get smart to do good. Our hope is that we can create informed citizens who can use their knowledge and brilliance and creativity to do good in the world and better the planet. Next slide, please. Thanks. So you've heard a lot about what's similar among our 3 great high schools, and I am super grateful to share the Zoomosphere tonight with my colleagues from Portland, Endearing, and Paths. We are all reflective of Portland's wonderful diversity. We all have courses with similar titles, from physics and Spanish 4 to AP Calculus. We all offer opportunities for our kids to earn college credit even while in high school. At Casco Bay, about 50% of our graduates leave with college credit in addition to a high school diploma. We all, as noted, have scads of activities and ways to get your kids involved in life outside of academics. This past fall, 5 of our Casco Bay seniors were captains of varsity sports at Portland Endearing, who are generously sharing their athletic fields with our athletes. All our clubs and musical theater and so forth are here at Casco, but we share sport opportunities with our good friends at Portland Endearing. We all have fabulous faculty. We're fortunate to have Maine's Teacher of the Year, Matt Bernstein, teaching our freshmen this year. Our values, our actions kind of follow our values of rigor, relevance, and relationships. We start with relationships deeply freshman year, with the hope that if we know your child well, they will do their absolute best. And we want to challenge them with work that is as rigorous as it is relevant, and as relevant as it is rigorous. Next slide, please. Thanks. So a couple things that are distinct about Casco Bay. First, of course, is the size. The point of being small is to try and get to know your student well and to try and customize what we do to meet their particular strengths so that they can be their absolute full selves at school. Because we know when students feel free to be their full selves, they're also going to be learning at their best. The video spoke a lot about crew. I will just add saying that crew is like family at school. It focuses on 3 questions. Who am I? How am I doing? And what are my plans for the future? Each and every day, we're trying to answer that question in crew in big ways and small ways. We spend about 3 hours a week of our school time in crew. And then obviously expeditionary learning is at the core of what we do with our curriculum. There are many days where math class looks like math class and art class looks like art class. But there are other days where the classes connect with one another in ways that can lead to the larger projects you've heard me describe. Our goal is that each and every year, your student does excellent work that expands their sense of what is possible for themselves and for their world, work that truly kind of blows themselves away and blows their audiences away, and work that matters. We do those through our expeditions and also through something we call intensives, which are compact 1-week electives that happen once in January and once in April. This year, we'll be having intensives in topics from podcasting to songwriting, from dismantling the school to prison pipeline to snowshoeing. Next slide. And last, I want to tell you a little bit about some of the traditions at Casco Bay that are unique to us and that reflect our values. First is winter solstice. In 2 weeks, we will all gather as a full school community. The photo you see depicts a pandemic version of a solstice. But we will all gather and have an opportunity to give gratitude for the gifts our community has given us. And students will stand one at a time and share what they're grateful for as they wish. And it's a gorgeous way to head into the winter holidays and reflects our belief that's important to create awesome human beings as awesome scholars by the time they graduate. And we focus a lot on supporting students' character. The next tradition you'll see is moving on up. That's what anytime a student gets into a college, and we've had 98% of our graduates move on or be accepted to college upon graduation, we play the Jeffersons theme song, if you know that, at the end of our school meeting, and students climb a ladder and to wild applause are celebrated for their particular excellence. And this represents our belief that all students are, no matter their particular path, are capable of greatness and worthy of celebration. Junior Journey is like Casco Bay Quest in the sense that it's an overnight out of our community experience. This year, we will again be going to the Schoodic Institute for several nights with our junior class to do work with the Park Service and engage in local adventures as well as citizen science. Our belief is that learning, often the best learning and most important learning happens outside of a classroom and can be super deep when connected with local experts and local needs. And lastly, final word is a piece that happens for the seniors at the last thing that they do before graduation, where they share who they are and what they're about on the verge of graduation, because we want every student's voice to be heard for its glorious self. So thank you for listening. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the Deering video.
What's changed my life the most is just that driving force. They want you to push yourself. Anything that you can do, if you have a driving force behind you, you can't be stopped.
This is your home. This is your family. It's about being together. Are you ready?
The connections that you get through all the different programs, that's what really connects you, and that's what really brings the community together.
Deering is the most diverse school north of Boston, and I think that's something that everyone in the school should be so proud of.
Being able to look at life through someone else's lenses, that's something going to Deering has definitely given me a one-up on that.
No one's ever really separated, and I feel like we can work together no matter what.
I remember freshman year, I didn't really know a lot of people and nobody really knew me. When you walk in, everyone's gonna treat you like family. You're not gonna feel different, you're gonna feel close with everybody. It may be a little daunting because it's like, oh, high school, but take that with a grain of salt. These people will welcome you with open arms.
I feel welcomed every time I come through that door, and I know that I'm gonna see people and have people to talk to. The students are really supportive, and the teachers are too.
It's very inclusive, and the teachers talk to you about things that you want to do and your aspirations for after high school.
It's such a happy place to be in. It's very eye-opening, and you make great friends.
Instead of suppressing your culture and your language, Deering High School really embraces it. There's so many opportunities, so many extended learning opportunities, so many sports, so many AP classes.
Deering has the most AP classes. There's this rigor component and this academic component of Deering. You can take these AP classes. It's going to prepare you for college. We have someone going to Columbia University, someone going to Yale University. Deering as a community has helped them get to where they are now.
I would be here for hours if I could name all of the things that are offered, and I'm only a sophomore, so it'll be continued.
Family on three. 1, 2, 3, family.
And I'm proud now to introduce co-principals Allison Dame and Abdullahi Ahmed. Go ahead.
Good evening, students and families. Welcome to this important night. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed, and I'm one of the co-principals of Deering High School. With me tonight, my colleague and co-principal Allison Dane, and she will present tonight about Deering. Ms. Dane?
Good evening, everyone. As Dr. Med said, I'm Allison Dame, and I'm honored to serve alongside Dr. Med as Deering co-principals. I also want to reiterate what Principal Pierce said. Portland really is truly lucky to have 3 excellent high schools, and it's a pleasure to work with Mr. Pierce, Ms. Jepson, and Mr. Stilfen as a team united to make sure every student has a great high school experience. I'm pleased tonight to have a minute to talk about Deering's character, what makes us proud of the school we have, and what you might expect if you attend Deering next fall. At Deering, we're driven by a mission to make sure every student is valued, challenged, and empowered. We know students, of course, learn best when they're valued, but we also see an opportunity as Maine's most diverse high school to model creating an inclusive community, which starts by learning from each other about how we can value every one of us. We challenge all students, and I'll speak in a moment about our rigorous coursework and the moves that we make to make sure everyone has access to that coursework. And finally, we create opportunities for all students to feel empowered and like they've made a difference in their community. We want those successes to help build leadership and self-empowerment and self-worth in all students. In terms of academics, all of our 9th graders take grade level work across the content. That means year-long algebra or accelerated math 1. It means for social studies, all of our students are in AP Human Geography. Our English class has an honors option embedded that any student can choose to pursue. And 9th graders take environmental science, where they have a choice of college prep or honors. 9th graders also have access to about 30 electives, and their access to elective only grows over time at Deering. We really believe that if we're going to graduate seniors who are prepared for college or a meaningful career, they need to have access to compelling, rigorous grade level content and the support to do that work well, starting in the 9th grade. That's what's behind our decision to have every student take AP Human Geography. But of course, we care deeply about students' own experience of this, and the results have been very positive. Last year, 97.2% of our 9th graders felt the course was appropriate for them, and 99% knew that they had the support of their teacher when they needed help. Beyond 9th grade, we have a wide range of rigorous coursework with a lot of variety. We have 16 AP classes, as well as 5 classes that happen at Deering, but in which we partner with USM or SMCC to offer college credit. We offer classes in 5 world languages: Arabic, French, Mandarin, Portuguese, and Spanish. And we do have a 4x4 schedule, which means students typically take 4 classes one semester and then another 4 classes the next semester. Because of the similarity with a college schedule, this does facilitate easier access to leaving our school to go take a class at a local college or university. And because of this schedule, we do have more students taking early college classes than any other school in the greater Portland area. Many popular electives, I've listed a few here on the slide. And all in all, our academic program is proven by the results in terms of what our students are able to do, of course, after they graduate. And we're very proud year after year to send students to the nation's best universities and colleges. In just the past 2 or 3 years, we've sent students to Harvard, Yale, Bates, Bowdoin, Wellesley, Stanford, MIT, and Smith, to name a few. As I said earlier, we do intentionally work to value all students, and that's on purpose because we do want to build a strong community, and we do feel that the relationship students build is one of our greatest strengths. That community building begins each morning in advisory, where students have a consistent group of peers that they meet with. They learn about important school announcements and connect with their advisor, who's a faculty member who can be a consistent support to them throughout their high school career. We have over 40 clubs and activities giving students a wide range of places to connect with other students who share their interests or to learn new things and meet new people. And another way we build community is within our classrooms. We intentionally use student input to make sure our classes are representative and non-biased. This is something we take seriously as Maine's most diverse high school. It's a reason that we now offer African American history and have altered some of our curriculum in social studies. And it's one of the ways that we build trust between students and faculty. In all these ways and more, learning to live in community with one another is not an accident at Deering. It is a part of the curriculum. Finally, we build in many, many opportunities for students to show all kinds of leadership, big, small, quiet, and loud. As Balkis said in the video, we would be here for hours if we listed all of the ways that students can engage in these activities. But 3 recent examples of success students have had outside the classroom are our debate team, which was state champs last year and has swept 2 tournaments already this year. Also, many of our students partner with the Telling Room to write their memoirs, and 3 of them recently won Rising Tide scholarships based on their performance of those written memoirs. And finally, a recent alum, Emily Siegel's capstone, which was to create colorful crosswalks outside Deering, celebrating the Black Lives Matter movement, LGBTQ plus pride, climate change, and mental health awareness, caught the attention of the Portland Press Herald. I hope this presentation has given you a sense of Deering's character and our programming, and I very much hope we get to meet many of you in person at next Saturday's school walkthroughs. I'm pleased now to hand it over to Portland and to begin with their video.
What it means to me to be a Portland High student is being courageous and brave. Portland is in the center of everything.
It's such a warm, open community. Definitely the people is the best part.
It's a home, it's a family. We work well together here. I'm proud to be a student of PHS.
The people in this school, they're the ones that make the school unique. We're just all friends and we don't separate, you know. It's like everybody's there to help each other. The most love they give me, that's the thing that make me like work hard for what I want.
Being able to just like explore the city, I think it's like really useful, and being right in the heart of downtown.
Portland definitely gave me a lot of life skills that I can easily use in my future life. Like, it really made me a lot more confident.
Portland High School teaches you things that you're going to learn in the world, and it prepares you for the world.
When I came here for my first tour of the school, it just clicked. I either want to go to law school or medical school, and they're two completely different things, but there are a lot of classes I can take at this school that help me with both of them.
This school made me find out what I want to do in college and probably what I want to do in a career. Most people don't know about that going to college, but I think that I really got that from the school.
There's a lot of programs for certain careers or studies that you want to work on in the future that work for freshmen all the way up to senior year.
I want to do broadcast journalism. Being involved in the classroom, having a lot of discussions, I think had made me more comfortable speaking in front of people. And I think that that helps us build our skills for later on.
Each class also brings in a new tradition that just keeps going forward and just makes Portland a really special place.
To me, it's an honor to be a student here. Just walking through these halls, thinking about all the history that's come through here, all the amazing staff and everyone that's been through here, it's just an honor. And now thinking of it makes my heart, it genuinely feels good.
I feel like this is the best school ever.
I'm Kostin Nedeljkovic.
I'm Hallie Chase.
I'm Ella.
I'm Dominic Moffo.
I am Gianna.
My name is Jared.
I am Natalia Kandel.
We are VHS.
Great. Well, thank you, and excited to introduce Principal Sheila Jepson.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening. Tonight, I'm going to provide you with a quick view of the experience your student will have if they choose Portland High School. I always enjoy meeting families and talking about Portland High and all of the wonderful things we offer here. Our location is in the heart of downtown. We enjoy being in the midst of the historic district of Portland, and there are many field trip options and extended learning opportunities, all within walking distance of our school. Like all of our high schools, students use the Metro bus, and the hub for the Metro is right next to the high school. Our teachers and staff are innovative, dedicated, and engaging. They are the core of our school. Your 9th grade year serves as the foundation. You spend freshman year building relationships, making connections to academics, and developing transferable skills like public speaking, time management, and effective communication to ensure your success throughout high school and beyond. Our diverse population makes us who we are. Our students have many opportunities to share their talents, begin to learn and consider potential career paths, and become global citizens in a variety of settings. We've been offering a freshman academy for 10 years. Our team approach supports students with the transition from middle school to high school. We have a dedicated teacher who leads the work of our teams and is a contact for families. Our focus is on making connections, developing community, and establishing supports centering on academic and personal growth. Like our other schools, as you heard tonight, all students are assigned an advisor, someone who will be your contact for the 4 years you're at PHS. We meet daily to share information and create a positive contact for all students. In addition to taking core courses in English, math, earth science, and world history, all 9th graders take a course called Freshman Seminar. There, you'll explore your interests and learn about the various pathways and opportunities available to you. From there, you'll branch out to take elective courses and can access personalized support. One of our 9th grade students, Olivia, said, "The switch from middle school to high school had been made more simple just by being at PHS and having so many people able to help me whenever I need it." And another student, Griffin, added, "Freshman seminar helps freshmen get to know the school, manage your time, and helps me become a better student, which makes school easier." PHS also offers a variety of AP courses and a wide array of elective courses in art, music, world languages, social studies, and science. We provide support for students with disabilities, as well as to our multilingual learners. We encourage students to become involved in the many activities and clubs offered at Portland High. If there's a club that interests you and we don't offer it, suggest it. Student suggestions and input recently have allowed PHS to create clubs for cooking, art, skiing, hiking, and along with our expanding Black Student Union. Our students participate in many community service projects and are involved in the community in artistic and athletic activities. When students come to Portland High School, we'll take you where you are and get you where you want to go. Over time, you can customize your schedule to reflect your individual interests, talents, and passions. It's okay if you don't have it all figured out. As a large, comprehensive high school, you can select and participate in a variety of academic courses and clubs to explore your current interests or try something out and discover new ones. You will find your place at Portland High. Experience something new, art, film history, engineering, meet others who share your interests, and you'll graduate prepared and ready for life after high school. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday as part of the high school walkthroughs. You'll get a sense of our historic building, see some of the spaces our freshmen use on a daily basis, and meet some staff members and students. See you then. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce the director of Portland Arts and Technology High School, Kevin Stilfen.
Good evening. Thank you for coming. It's thrilling to be here to talk about my school, but it's equally thrilling to have such great colleagues as I work with at the 3 different high schools in Portland. Your students are lucky to have such great choices going into their freshman year. PAFS is Portland's career and technical education school. Your student will have the opportunity to attend PAFS, and they'll hear more about it at the end of their sophomore year. PAFS is focuses on providing students training in multiple different careers, which will provide them with opportunities to be lifelong learners and be able to earn certifications in other aspects through career and technical education. Next slide. A quick overview of PAFS. The first thing is that your students will still be Portland High School, Deering High School, and Casco Bay students. They'll spend half their day at PAFS and then they'll return back to one of their sending schools. In fact, the videos tonight, I saw many of my students that come to PAFS, both past and still currently there in the films. Our programs are based on 2 years, 350 hours of instruction a year, equaling 700 hours over the course of 2 years. No cost. There are no costs to students other than stepping outside their comfort zone to attend PAFS. They're going to work on state-of-the-art equipment and earn national certifications. And these certifications are third-party. These are industry certifications like CompTIA and a cybersecurity program and AWS welding certifications they can earn in our welding programs. We will start recruiting. Actually, we'll start this week to recruit in the other 13 high schools that send students to PAFs. We will be in the schools. We have videos. We will give presentations. We will have open house. So as your student advances through their high school experience in Portland, they will begin to hear more about PAFs. And as a parent, we always encourage parents to visit. If you have questions, we would love to have you ask those questions and visit our school. And sometimes it takes a visitation and a walkthrough to see what the school is all about. So we're here to answer questions when that recruiting process starts. The secret to success at PAFs, next slide, is really with PAFs is just showing up and having our students attend. In attendance is so important because of the time they offer, the time the students are in the program. And if they miss time, it can be very difficult to make it up. Here's some examples of the certifications that students can earn throughout their time in a program. We're also expanding our college credit pathways with SMCC, Maine, Augusta, and other post-secondary schools. We will have, at the end of this year, a student from Great New Gloucester High School who is in our careers and education program graduate with 23 college credits through the community college system. We are hands-on learning, and we are focused on developing the good habits of career success in all of our students. Next slide. These are all of our programs. We provide programs that offer students access to employment, to good paying jobs. There also has to be a certification component, and there also has to be avenues for post-secondary training. It really is a world of high school plus now for students, whether it's college, 4-year, 2-year, continuous certification work. Students are going to be faced with a world that is rapidly changing, so they have to stay. We have to offer programs that provide those opportunities for students when they graduate from high school. Next slide. So that wraps up my presentation. I hope to meet more of you in the coming years. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you to all of the school leaders. We're incredibly proud of all 4 of these schools and the staff at each. To conclude tonight, we want to remind about the next steps in the high school enrollment process, and then transition to taking your questions. First, all families must complete a high school preference form by Friday, January 6th. For current Portland Public Schools families, you will receive a personalized link by email and text starting tomorrow, and you will receive reminders each week if you haven't completed it up until the deadline. For Portland residents who are not currently enrolled in Portland Public Schools, or for those who will be Portland residents by the start of the school year, a Google form on our high school transition website to indicate your school preferences. You may complete this form at any time over the next month. Completing it early or January 6th does not give any kind of advantage. All responses are the same. Once preference forms, we will analyze them to determine balanced enrollments and diversity across the 9th grade groups, as Superintendent Botana spoke about earlier. We will be considering sibling preferences along with additional diversity factors such as eligibility for special education programs, receiving services for multilingual supports, eligibility for free and reduced lunch, or homeless, or eligibility for McKinney-Vento in our homeless program. If necessary, we may end up making adjustments to students' preference to be able to achieve these, the balance of school enrollment and diversity across our 3 high schools. Our goal is to honor as many first preferences as possible while also still achieving that outcome of balanced enrollments. We will send out high school assignments no later than February 6th and hopefully sooner. If students do not receive their first preference, there will be an appeal process that we will communicate more about at that time. Students will be able to communicate if they're, appeal their assignment if they don't get their first choice, if they are a sibling of a student and that wasn't honored, or if you're a child of a Portland Public School student, or if there's some other documented safety issue that we should be aware of that would influence your assignment. High school assignments will be final, and students will be expected to attend that school for their freshman year, and transfers will not be considered until after their freshman year prior to the 10th grade year. For more information beyond what we've shared tonight, tonight's presentation has been recorded and will be available and published on our high school transition website. You may have noticed me going to that website, back and forth to show the videos. So it has the videos and significantly more information about each of the schools. You can, of course, through there find the links to the school's websites to access additional information, including the school's course catalogs. As has been mentioned, we will be hosting school walkthroughs this coming Saturday from 10 to 12:30. You can arrive at any time. You can visit all of the schools, one of the schools, multiple schools, and stay for as long as you like. There will be students and staff on hand to greet you and answer questions. We will also be providing transportation for families. We will have buses that will be starting, one at the Sagamore Community Center, one at the Riverton Park Community Center, and one at Kennedy Park. They'll depart at 9:45 for one of the high schools, and then the buses will stay and will transition every half hour from one school to the next. So you're welcome to get on board and visit each of the schools and make your way to either Portland, Deering, or Casco Bay throughout the day. So with that, we'd love to get your feedback on tonight's session. We've had a wonderful group this evening, and then take some time to answer some of your questions. So please offer some feedback, and we'll begin with our question and answer. We had one question earlier that was about, just to share with everybody, around whether students who live on the islands can attend Casco Bay High School. And the answer to that question is most definitely yes. Island students, just like any Portland student, can choose among, can communicate their preference among the 3 schools. The next question was, is there any benefit to choosing early? That is to say, is there any element of first come, first served? And no. So any choice or preference indicated between, now and January 6th will be treated equally. If families do not indicate a preference by January 6th, in our analysis after that, it'll be indicated that there was no preference. But any time between now and January 6th is considered the same. We had a question about, will you be able to, indicate first and second preferences? Because of the limited size of the Casco Bay freshman class, as Principal Pierce shared. If folks indicate Casco, we will be asking for a second preference. If somebody has indicated either Deering or Portland High and not Casco as their first preference, we would consider the other comprehensive school their second preference. Is there a hard copy of the high school preference form for people who may not have a computer? Again, you should be able to complete the form on your phone. It'll come via text, but if you have any challenges, if you're not receiving the form, if you need to complete something in person, please contact your middle school guidance counselors and staff. They will help make sure that your preferences are recorded. Question that maybe I'll offer up to either, to one of the school leaders. So which schools have lacrosse and swimming? So I know swimming is actually a co-op program. So we have one team, we have two teams, a boys team and a girls team currently. And students from all three high schools participate on the same swimming team. For lacrosse, currently, both Portland and Deering currently have both boys and girls lacrosse. Is that correct? Yep. And again, Casco students choose an affiliation to participate in either Portland or Deering at the beginning of their high school career, and they can participate. We had a question of, can PATH students play sports? So yes, again, PATH students are really considered their home school, either Portland, Deering, or Casco Bay. So it's through that they attend, but we have students who take classes at PATHs and also participate in athletics and many other co-curriculars at their home schools. So we had a question about aligning the schedules at Portland and Deering. So as the superintendent communicated, we have begun a process engaging staff from both all four high schools actually, students and parents to be able to develop a more consistent program. One of those work groups that has started is a scheduling work group. So we anticipate that over the next couple years that we will develop and identify a common schedule across the two comprehensive high schools. Those groups have just begun. So both schools are currently continuing to plan to offer the same schedule next year, though, of course, there are always adjustments and improvements that get made to their kind of existing structures as we learn how to better serve students. So we will continue to communicate about the progress of that work, over the course of this year and on into next year. But we do anticipate that it's likely by the end of this class's time in high school that the two comprehensive schools will have identified and adopted and be implementing a common schedule across the two schools.
Aaron, can I add that, currently we do have the same start and end times at all the high schools. Correct. And we do have some limited number of students who may take classes during the first block. Like we may have students take Latin at Portland High, for instance. We have a student from Portland High taking Chinese with us first block. So in the first block of the day, there is some fluidity among students at the three high schools if there's a course offered at one that's not offered at the other that fits into that first learning block.
Thanks, Derek. So once a student is placed in their freshman year, can they expect to keep that placement for all 4 years? So yes. Yep. So once you're in, you're able to stay and remain at that high school. Do Island students get preference to the closest high school to Casco Bay line? So no, we don't. We offer transportation from the ferry terminal that would, so for Island students, because of that unique schedule and the need to get them there and on time, we do offer transportation for those students. So, but there's no preference based on where they are. So out-of-district requests, the next question is how do out-of-district requests factor into the lottery process? So those would only be considered until after the completion and the assignment of all of our current Portland residents. So we won't entertain, superintendent's requests until we have assigned all of our, Portland residents, whether they're current Portland Public Schools families or families who reside in Portland and are wanting to enroll for 9th grade. If there's space after that, we would consider that, through the usual process. Will tour guides be available on Saturday at the high schools? We have referred to them more as docents as opposed to tour guides. So there will be staff and students around, certainly greeting you and positioned throughout the building to help answer questions and help you get around and become familiar with the space. Are you going to send forms via email or post mail? So there'll be email and a link by text. So you should receive it by email and by text, a link to the form. And again, if you have any issues with that, and that's for currently enrolled Portland Public Schools families, if you have any issues, please contact your middle schools and we can help to work to resolve it to make sure we're able to record your preference. So there's a question about the Casco Bay lottery process. So again, once we collect all the preferences, we do, and on the high school transition site, there is a link to the lottery rules we will be using for both Casco Bay as well as analyzing the preferences for both Deering and Portland. But we, because of the limited nature, we consider sibling preferences at Casco Bay, as we will also at Deering and Portland. And then we determine based on how many people are, indicate that as their first choice, then look at, establishing a balanced class that is representative of the overall district's demographics. And again, the factors that are considered are, free and reduced lunch status, special ed program status, and English learner status. Derek, do you want to offer anything else?
Yeah, I just want to clarify too, Aaron, my understanding of the sibling piece would be that it's for siblings who are currently enrolled in grades 9, 10, and 11 in that school, not if there was a sibling who graduated or is graduating this year, that would not confer any advantage or disadvantage in the process of preference. That is what it has been. Is that correct moving forward?
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They would be anticipating being enrolled in the coming year in school year 23-24.
Right. And can I make one other clarification too, so I'm not mistaken, that if someone is not living currently, just on the out of district piece, if someone is not living currently in Portland, but they intend to by the start of school 2023, they could be considered like other Portland residents upon proof of Portland residency?
Correct. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Yep. They must be residents by the start of school at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. Sorry, just kind of going down through here again. And we'll try to get through as many of these as we can this evening. We are collecting all these questions to post a frequently asked questions doc as well on the high school transitions website. If a student decides they want to transfer, what criteria is required to grant this request? So, again, for the freshman year this coming year, we'll expect students to, remain enrolled at the high school they're assigned for their freshman year. But I'd invite, I don't know, any of the high school leaders you want to speak to, how you kind of guide and counsel students around transfers beyond, in their sophomore years and beyond.
I mean, I can just say briefly that we meet with the student and the family, and at times the principal at the other school that the student is interested in will also meet, and ultimately we'll work as a team to do what's best for the student. Again, that's sophomore year and forward. Ms. Jepson, do you want to add anything to that?
I mean, that's generally accurate. I like to meet with all families coming into Portland High, and just to get a sense of what their interests and needs and supports are, and then we make the change.
Great. Thank you both. Let's see. Scrolling through. So again, there is no consideration based on geography. So again, you may elect to choose as your preference a school that is closer to you because of that. But from our analysis, these are not considered neighborhood schools like our elementary schools and our middle schools. We had another question of, will students be ensured a spot at a school if a sibling is currently attending? So again, yes, that is and that they will continue, as Mr. Pierce said, to be attending again next year. So we, anticipate that anybody who elects that and has, communicates the sibling preference, would be able to have a spot at the same school. So if you have a sibling at Portland High, who will be enrolled next year and you're a rising ninth grader, you would be able to attend Portland High. There are questions about, some of the advanced placement offerings. I think those are too numerous to kind of review, and I think in this format and would really encourage folks to look at the course catalogs and the high school transition website, where all of those are outlined, all the different offerings like that are outlined. There was one question about, are there other sports besides swimming that are combined between the schools? So I think right now we currently have swimming, Nordic ski, we have field hockey, ice hockey, boys and girls. Anything else I'm missing off the top of my head? I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. But as well, consistent with this alignment conversation, there are other sports that we may consider, depending on numbers, to be able to align and consolidate and have what are called co-ops when they're kind of merged together. So there was a question about how are we determining diversity when we're talking about those diversity, balancing diversity. So again, just wanted to communicate kind of the four elements, the diversity factors that are spelled out in our lottery rules. So that is, students who qualify for special education, students who qualify for English learner supports, students who qualify for free and reduced lunch, and students who are eligible for or who are considered homeless under the kind of federal McKinney-Vento program. So those are the four diversity factors we look at, and we'll strive to not sure exact, but a balance so that they are representative of our overall district population for the incoming class at each of our three high schools. So there was questions there. Sorry, and there's many questions trying to determine which ones to get to. So if people missed any part of this and part of the video again, and there are questions about the schedules and other course offerings, I would really encourage people accessing the high school transition website. Maybe our Zoom host could put that, I saw you just did. Wonderful, thank you. Put that link back in the chat. It was emailed out to all current 8th grade families, and we'll send those links out again here over the next week. Again, there's information about their questions about what foreign language offerings there are. I continue to encourage folks, we have things as diverse as Mandarin, Arabic, French, Spanish, Latin, I think you've heard as an example. Not all of those are available at all schools currently, but we do have many that are consistent across all of our high schools.
Aaron, I saw one earlier that maybe I missed you responding to, which was, does it matter if you express your preference and turn that in, today or January 5th? And to be clear, it doesn't matter when that preference is expressed, as long as it's by the deadline of January 6th, that they'll all be considered equal up until that date.
Yeah. There was a question that I do want to make sure we kind of hit on. It was, if somebody is accepted into Casco Bay, can they then choose another school? And so that is something that is a little bit different about our process this year, that if you select Casco Bay as your first choice, and that is, as your preference, and that is where you are assigned, then that is where you will be expected to enroll for the freshman year. Saturday is our only date that is available for visiting the schools this year as part of the board resolution. In terms of balancing this, we're, kind of focusing our efforts, in a more kind of condensed way to be able to balance staff energy and time to be able to support this, as well as students' time and energy, in terms of engaging in this process. Let's see. Anybody else? Any other questions jumping out, from folks to be able to speak to here in our last couple minutes?
Erin, I saw a question about co-curriculars, and would students be able to do co-curriculars at the other high school that aren't available at their current school? And the answer to that is no. There are sometimes we have some joint co-curriculars, but generally each school has their own clubs. So you could only attend the club at the school that you attend. If there's a joint meeting or a joint gathering, then that's when they would get together. But 99% of the time, the co-curricular is at the school the student attends.
And just to clarify, it's different from athletics in this sense, right?
Right, correct.
We have one question. What about a child with an IEP, an individualized educational program? How does that work? So it depends somewhat on the services that the student receives, and I would encourage you to talk to your case manager at your middle school. If a student is only is receiving just kind of resource room supports or other, kind of non, then they are eligible to attend any of our three schools. If students are receiving more specialized programs, like I saw a reference to the Beach program, which is our high school program for some students who have been diagnosed with autism that is housed at Portland High. They may be, if they're in one of those district programs, you will work through the IEP process to be able to determine the school's placement for the district programs. But if it is a student who is generally participating in the mainstream and just gets additional resources or supports, they are able to choose any of their three high schools or any of the three high schools. Maybe Derek, if you want to answer, if your child goes to Casco Bay and plays sports, how do they get to practice? Do they take Metro to get to practice?
Yep. Typically students take the Metro, and, Portland and Deering coaches have been gracious and understanding about our athletes' travel needs, and on game days where they may need to leave early to go play Marshwood or whatever, we can make those adjustments and accommodations so students can participate as they would if they attended the school where they're doing their athletics.
Yeah. We had a question. If there are folks who are not currently enrolled, we shared the high school transition website with a number of our, kind of local colleagues of other, other schools, Friends School, St. Bridget, others. So you should be able to get that through them or just access it through the high school transition website. Breakwater. Oh, this is a great question. So maybe how do high schools align their schedules to support paths enrollment in AP classes? So can you guys speak briefly to that around how ultimately that works out for students?
Sure. I can jump in, and then Sheila, you can correct me when I make a mistake. We work with all 13 high schools. There are 2 sessions. One starts at 8, one starts at 11. So we're able to place students in the best spot to meet the needs of their current schedule. We work very closely with the guidance school counselors at every school. So we work hard to do that. Sometimes there are barriers, but we don't give up on barriers, and we keep working to try to get the students the opportunity to be at PAFs.
And I'll just add from a ascending high school perspective, because of the AM and the PM session, we just make sure that we offer multiple sections of courses that students would typically take who go to paths. So we would have AM and PM English classes, social studies classes, math classes, science classes. So it works very smoothly.
Yeah, very similar at Deering. Some students stay for blocks 1 and 2 and then head over to paths. Some students go to paths first and then come join us at Deering for blocks 3 and 4 in the afternoon. But as Sheila said, our counselors work carefully to make sure that they have the ability to get to paths because, as has been mentioned, the students who go there really thrive and do well.
Mm-hmm. And we're lucky not to have a bus issue. We can go upstairs or downstairs to get to paths. And I'd say that the 8:20 start, that change has made things even a bit easier for us in trying to sync with paths.
Yeah. One maybe, and we may take this as our last one, given that we're at 8:01 here tonight, and I know this is relevant, probably for a lot of families. So when this year will math level for freshman year be determined? So maybe speaking a little bit around kind of course signups and that process for, rising 9th grade students. When does that happen? What's that process look like? Go ahead.
Yeah, so the process will happen in early March, and our school counselors will work with the school counselors at the middle school to determine and hear about recommendations. And your student's current 8th grade teacher is also very involved in making a recommendation for placement in any course. So it's really working together with both the middle school school counselors and the middle school teachers.
Our students take geometry freshman year, which most freshmen typically have not. And then there's also an exceeds math option for those with algebra experience who'd like to take algebra 2 as well to prepare for sophomore pre-calculus. So that those choices can be made at the beginning of the school year, depending on the kid's math background. But we also look at the recommendations and experience that we hear about from the 8th grade teachers.
Right.
Yeah, Deering, it's very similar. We have Algebra 1 and an accelerated math. Students who have not finished algebra in 8th grade but are interested in the accelerated math, the district offers to any student, or did last year, and I'm hoping will, a math class over the summer so students can prepare themselves to be on a more accelerated course when they enter high school.
Great. Well, appreciate so many folks staying with us all evening. We're both the questions we answered and some that we didn't get to, we're going to work to convert into kind of an FAQ here over the course of this week so that we can respond to those. And as additional questions kind of come our way, in conversation or from our middle school colleagues or come out of the high school walkthroughs on Saturday, we'll continue to add to that. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. We appreciate your interest and commitment to this process. Look forward to welcoming 450 to 500 new 9th graders into our high schools next year to have an awesome, amazing experience to graduate prepared and empowered in 4 years from there. So thank you again very much for your time tonight. We look forward to seeing families that'll visit on Saturday. And look forward to beginning to engage you all, as you get your high school assignments after February. So thanks so much. Have a good night.